What if I told you this single worst piece of financial advice you've ever been given is to save your money? And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Welcome to Rich Uncle Bob. So here's the deal. Rich Uncle Bob learned something that changed his entire relationship with money. And honestly, it's something most people will never figure out because they're too busy following advice that keeps them broke. So to really get how the wealthy build these massive fortunes, you first have to understand what they're absolutely terrified of. It's not what you think. See, beyond losing the yachts and the mansions, there is a cold, hard number that haunts every single wealthy family and drives their entire strategy for raising their kids. 70%. According to a U.S. Trust survey, 7 out of every 10 wealthy families see their fortune completely vanish by the time the grandkids are in charge. Think about that. 7 out of 10. This isn't just a financial problem for them, it's their ultimate nightmare. It's the failure of their entire legacy. So, when you're facing a 70% chance of total failure, what do? Well, you don't just cross your fingers and hope for the best. No. They've developed a system, a secret playbook designed specifically to stop this from happening. And it's time we decoded it.
All right, the first tool in this playbook is probably not what you'd expect. It's not a lecture about budgeting or getting a summer job. No, it's a cold, strategic document, something you'd find in a corporate boardroom, not a living room.
They call it a family mission statement, but don't let the warm and fuzzy name fool you. This is not a feel-good poster with family values on it. It's a contract, a corporate directive designed to hardwire one primary mission into every single family member: protect the capital and grow the assets. Period. Every major life decision gets filtered through that lens. Just listen to the corporate jargon in this example from a guide by Hightower Advisors. Maximize the equitable transfer of my assets. You know what that really means? It means dodge taxes and encourage my heirs to work for the benefit of humanity. That's just a polite way of saying control their life choices and, manage the family's public image. It's all about control, just dressed up to sound noble. Okay, so once that corporate blueprint is locked in, phase 2 begins. And this is where it gets really interesting. This isn't just, giving your kid an allowance. We're talking about a systematic, multi-year indoctrination program designed to shape a child's entire relationship with money from the moment they can count. And this program is highly structured. Look at this timeline. It's broken down into 3 deliberate phases. Ages 5 to 11, that's all about laying this psychological foundation. Then from 12 to 17, they start teaching the actual mechanics of how wealth grows. And finally, from 18 to 24, the goal is to plug them directly into the family's financial machine. Every single step is calculated. It often starts with something that looks super innocent, a 3-part piggy bank: spend, save, and give. But the lessons being installed are pure strategy. The spend jar teaches them the value of $1. The save jar installs the discipline of delayed gratification, which is a financial superpower. And the give jar? That's their first lesson in managing public perception. It teaches them that philanthropy can be a powerful tool for social standing. It's a strategic move. Then, in the teen years, the lessons get way more advanced. They're introduced to powerful mental models like the Rule of 72. This is a ridiculously simple trick to make the abstract idea of compound interest feel real and tangible. You just divide 72 by the annual interest rate to see how long it takes to double your money. At a 7% return, your cash doubles in about 10 years. It turns the boring process of investing into a game they can actually win. And this chart from JP Morgan, this right here is why they are obsessed with teaching this stuff early. Look at Susan. She starts investing at 25, puts in money for only 10 years, and then stops. Bill starts 10 years later, invests 3 times as much money for twice as long, and he still ends up with less. The lesson is crystal clear. When it comes to compounding, time is a much bigger weapon than the amount of money you have. So at this point, the family has its corporate mission, and the kids are being trained in the mechanics of wealth. But there is one final and frankly crucial piece to this puzzle. This is the part nobody talks about, the psychological programming. Because how do you make sure the heir actually feels like they deserve the fortune they're about to inherit? I mean, really think about that question. In a culture that claims to value hard work and meritocracy, how do you justify a massive unearned advantage? How do you prepare a kid to receive that kind of wealth without feeling like a fraud, like they didn't earn any of it? This is the core psychological problem they have to solve. The answer, according to some fascinating research from the London School of Economics, is a concept they call the intergenerational self.
This is basically the psychological software they install. It's a narrative, a story, that an heir is taught to tell themselves, which completely reframes their privilege. Instead of seeing it as a lucky break, it's positioned as the earned culmination of their family's multi-generational struggle. So, in practice, the story shifts. It's no longer, I was born rich. No. The story becomes, my ancestors were poor. They worked their fingers to the bone, and this wealth is the fruit of my family's labor, not just mine. Do you see what they did there? It's not an individual's unearned privilege anymore. It's the family's earned legacy, and they are just the current steward. And this is a massive mental shift. They don't reject the idea of meritocracy. They just redefine it. On the outside, they'll say, oh yes, I believe in individual merit and hard work. But what they really mean, what they're telling themselves, is my family's merit is multi-generational, and I am its current steward. It's a powerful psychological justification for their inherited position. So let's tie all of this together. The corporate family mission, the decades of financial training, and this deep psychological framing. Every single piece works together toward one single overarching goal.
In this system, the money itself is almost secondary. The true inheritance, the real asset that's designed to beat that 70% failure rate, is the mindset. It's the bulletproof narrative of the intergenerational self that lets an heir manage a fortune not with guilt, but with a sense of purpose. The goal was never to create a rich kid. It was to create a dynastic leader. This quote from the LSE research just nails the entire strategy. They recast familial gifts as evidence of multi-generational meritocratic success. In other words, an act of pure privilege gets transformed into a story of earned victory. And that is how you build a dynasty. Now here's the thing, rich Uncle Bob didn't figure this out overnight. It took years of making mistakes, following the wrong advice, and finally waking up to how money actually works. But now, he's sharing these lessons so you don't have to learn them the hard way. If this opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button, because there's a lot more where this came from. And trust me, the next one might just change everything for you.